Hey, it's Jeremy and welcome to another video. I create this cool brand for an electric car company. Now this was part of a spring challenge from another YouTube channel, and he does logos and brand design stuff, really cool. The main brief was that it was two guys from Switzerland. They're very future focused. They have a vision to have a new electric car company that really focused on clean energy, that was sustainable, that used technology at low cost, and their values were futuristic, modern, eco-friendly, and visionary. And you can see some of the shots from the mood board. Now, first up, we had to come up with a name, and second, we had to come up with a logo. Now, for the name, I played around, did some research on the top electric car companies. We've got Tesla, BMW, Hyundai, Jaguar, Mercedes. I drew some ideas from that, did some research, and then what I actually did was start to write out some names, started coming up with some names like Electron, Voltron, Electro, Recharge. What I decided to do was actually go and research on Swiss folklore. Because the owners were Swiss, I thought to take a direction down that road. Now, I ended up finding out that they believed in this air elemental being, which was called a Zilf. I think I say it right, but it's an air spirit, and Paracelsus came up with that, and I thought that was interesting. And then I did some research on energy, and I was thinking about electricity and electric cars, and then I found out that the word ion is an atom or molecule with a net electrical charge. So on that theme of electricity and air, maybe we can combine it to create Zilphion, which can be a focus on hybrid and electric vehicles. And that's how I came up with the name. Now, on to the next part. What I did is looked at the competitors, looked at the logos, and what I found was that a lot of the logos were actually uppercase. They had great marks, really bold, but a lot of them were very uppercase. And because I wanted to go more futuristic, more clean, more modern, but the thing was I wanted to reduce the space. So keeping upper space doesn't evoke the feeling of reduction. So that's why I wanted to choose the lowercase. I also wanted to create a mark that was futuristic, so I wanted to use the letter S, just because it's really simple, and I thought I'd play around and come with that. Now you can see my mood board. I came up with some of these images, went on Behance and started looking around. I also went on Dribbble, on Pinterest, and also Google, just to look at some images. And for me, I love gathering images. I started looking at some other car designs, specifically brand identities, and also typing in futuristic brand identities and looking up that to find something unique and clean. And I liked black and white because it's very minimal. It's all about clean energy, and I feel like white and black is just simple. It doesn't use color and lots of materials. It's very simple. So it goes back to that idea of visionary technology, and overall sustainable, which I think is cool. I also ended up adding a bit of green. But back onto the mood board, I started seeing the fonts, and I started taking some elements for that, like little cuts and that make it really edgy. And I took that into my actual logo design. Now, before I jumped into the logo design, I actually researched some fonts. Now, the two places that I went to get fonts was Envato Elements. I was looking for futuristic fonts in there, and then also Adobe Typekit. I also looked on Google Fonts as well, but those were my main two that I looked at. And I was looking for futuristic fonts, looking for clean sans serif fonts, and I was looking for something that was a bit compressed, a bit interesting with the letters, not too bland or boring, but something I can have to play around with and just edit and adjust and just make it look more better. And then what I did is I just went on Dribbble, grabbed some brand colors first, and just to get the black colors, and I also grabbed the gray and this nice future green color I came up with, just to go back to that clean energy. And none of the competitors were using green that I found, and then I jumped into Illustrator and started designing away. So you can see he started doing a type wall, and I just dumped all these different fonts. That's what a type wall is, basically typing all them out, looking at the best fonts and just trial and error. Grabbed the three best ones, and then I put it in uppercase and lowercase and looked how it felt. Then I decided to go with the lowercase, and I just started to play around with the type. then I started to see how I could make it a bit more edgy, more futuristic. So I started adding these little slits or cuts in the letters that I got inspired from the mood board, and it just added a bit more style to the actual logo mark. I also tightened the logo mark a bit tighter and the kerning there, and then I started to experiment, with the letters and just, mix it up, felt what was working, what was not. Now, once the logo type was done, what I did is started playing around with a simple S mark. Now, I did check my logo modernism book and online as well, just to get some ideas. And I felt like I just wanted to keep it really digital and compressed and tight. And so I just stuck with doing simple shapes using rectangle squares, but make it really edgy. So I angulated a lot of the shapes. It really turned out better than I thought. But I made a nice car badge from it. It felt really nice with the font. Felt edgy, and ultimately it just, I don't know, the contrast was really bold, and it felt like visionary because it was just like future. It felt like a futuristic type of, cyberpunk brand, which I thought was cool. So I stuck with that mark, and then finally I created some cool looking mock-ups in Photoshop, just creating the overall vibe, using some patterns, colors, using the icon, and then using the simple logo. I also played around with a pattern as well that I felt was really cool. And I wanted to highlight the simplicity of, the environment, clean energy, using minimal materials, like some of the textures in the background, like concrete, and, playing around with these, simple shapes and patterns, using the green, the light colors, really make something feel more clean, and the white space makes it feel like a fresh of breath air, very open. Now, if you are wondering where I got my mockups and my fonts and some of the other little graphics, I actually got them from Envato Elements. Now, this is the #1 library that I use for my brand design projects. It's got fonts, it's got mockups, it's got 3D images, it's got photos. It has everything you need, literally over 50 million assets. And the cool thing is, it's not that expensive. If you use my code below, you can actually get it for 50% off if you decide to do the annual plan. It ends up being only $16.50, and that's well worth it. If you're getting clients every year, you'll be able to pay it off within like 1 or 2 clients. And I recommend it to all designers out there. Now, we can't finish the video without seeing the final result. Now, if you do want to see more of this type of videos, drop a comment below and let me know if you are inspired by this. It would really mean a lot. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, I will put it on the screen. Check out my previous brand identity project I did for an urban clothing brand. Jeremy out.